Okay, welcome back, guys. So we were able to build this product slider in the previous lecture or in the previous project. What we're going to do now is we're going to build a product filter. Okay, so basically let me show you what that is. So I'll come here. So this is a list of our products, but it's listed in with a grid system, or the grid, it has a grid layout. And if I click on watches, for example, it displays only the watch, and same for the shirt, the gowns, and the jewelries. Okay, so basically that's like a filter function on our e-commerce products. And also we can get to search. So if I search for watch, it displays just the watch, and same for the other products. Okay, so let me do shirts. So SHIRT, and as you can see, we have the shirts. So basically that's what we're going to build in this section, and it shouldn't take us much time because we've already built the e-commerce the product slider. So some things we use in the product slider are similar to what we use here. Okay, so let's begin. I definitely want to try to be faster in this one. Okay, so I may not talk as much. Okay, all right, so let's go and start writing an index HTML. And first off, I'll just minimize this, and then I'll open this with live server. So we have hello world and everything is nicely connected. So I'll start by creating a header, and within the header, let's just add the h1. So there's something you can do in HTML, right? When you submit a form, like there is this thing that happens, the form reloads and the page reloads along with it. So in HTML we can do that by saying, but we can disable that by saying return, and then we say false. Okay, but we can also do that with JavaScript, and I think we saw that it's basically we just say prevent default. Okay, so but I just wanted you to see how we can do that. So let's add an impute. I think I need to see what I'm doing here. Okay, it's a responsive project, so let me add an impute, and it's going to be a type of text. It's going to have an ID of search. And then I'm going to add a button that's going to have an ID of btn-search. Okay, so apparently I don't actually need this button, so I think I was using it to test out something, and it's actually here on the page. Okay, but I don't need it. I didn't use it for anything, so I should probably get rid of it. So but I can do that later. So we don't need the button. Okay, so and then let's come outside of this div and let's add another div with a class of filter box, and it's the filter box that will contain all of these buttons here. So filter box, so it's just a tags that would go basically nowhere. They would have a class of btn, And this first one will have the active class. Okay. And then this is where we're going to introduce us to something. So we're going to use the data filter property here. Okay. You should actually read about it if you have some time. It's Let me just search for data filter so we can just see something about it. So data hyphen filter. Okay. Okay. I am looking for the article by Mozilla data filter. Let me just see. Okay, yeah. This is definitely not what I need. Okay, so maybe I'll change my search to data set property. Okay, yeah, so this is it. Oh, this is definitely not what I need. I can't find that article. There's an article by Mozilla that I want to reference, but okay, I can always check it out later and we can talk about it. I don't want to waste too much time. But there's a very nice article by Mozilla that talk about the whole data filter property and the data filter attribute. Okay, but let's just continue and we'll actually see how it's being used in this project. Okay. So for here, I would say data filters. The first one, right, is going to, the link is going to say all, and then I'll just see data hyphen filter, and I will set it to be equals to all. Okay. So I think I'll just increase this guy just a little bit so I can have everything on one line. And that's it. So I'll just duplicate these, I think 4 more times. Let's see. I can close this up. So 1, 2, 3, so 4 more times. And I'll just come here and do 1, 2, 3, 4. And if this one is going to say, so they all cannot have the active class. So let me, although I don't even get to use the active class in this project, but that's fine. So this one is going to say watch. Right, and this one is going to say watch as well. Okay, so this one is going to say shirt, and this one is going to say shirt as well. Same for this one that is going to say gown, and this one is going to say gown, and then this one is going to say jewelry. All right, so let me save that and let's see what we have. Okay, so you see we're almost there. We are doing very nice and very okay. So let me I'll come outside of the header, right, and I'll create a main tag, and that main tag is going to hold every other component. So basically I'll just create a div with a class of store product, store hyphen product, Okay. Actually, I would create a div with a class of slide container. Slide hyphen container. And inside this div, I'll create a section with a class of container and an ID of store products. Okay. And it's inside of this section where we're going to have all of our products. Okay. So let's go ahead and create the product. So div dot store products, store hyphen products, and I'm going to give this one a class of, okay, maybe I'll just hold on for this, or maybe I'll just give it a class of watch. Okay, so that will be dot watch. Okay, and then inside this one I'm going to create a product that is going to be a watch. So let me just space this out so we can see a little. So same way we created our products in the past, we're going to add the image, the and the product details. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy it from the previous project we did so that I'll save time. Okay, so let me just copy the image and the product details. So I'll control C and then I'll paste that in. Okay, so this is exactly the code we wrote for the previous lecture. Right, so basically what we have here is, I need to move this some more. So basically what we have here is we have this div with store product and watch, and then inside it we have the image and the product details. Okay, so we are just going to duplicate this a number of times, okay, for all the products we have. So 12 products that we have. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is I am just going to copy and paste in the code, because basically it's just duplicating and changing. So I'll just paste in the code and then I would talk about it. So let me just do that quickly, and I would okay, so I would come here, I would come down and then I'll paste. Okay, so let's just see what we have here. Right, so inside of this section we have our products, okay, individual products, right? And so this is products one. It has a class of store products and a class of watch, because actually a watch is inside. And then same for the next one, and same for the next one, right? And the next one we have a shirt, a shirt, a shirt, and then the gown. So I'm adding the classes here. Okay, and we're going to see why we're adding the classes when we use JavaScript. Okay, so let me save this and let's see what we have. So basically this is what we have, and let me just go to my styles.css file and let's make the image. I'm just going to comment this out and save. So you see we have the products here. All right, so I think we are done with the HTML. Yeah, we're done with the HTML. So we're going to add some styles for the CSS. Yeah, so I love writing CSS. So what do? We start with the header. So header, so set that background color. So for the CSS, I think we can shrink this a little, okay, and then we can expand this tab. So this is the header we are styling already. So let's target the H1. There's a typographical error here. Let me change that. All right, so that's product filter, not profunct filter. So if I didn't make that bold, I would not have noticed. Okay, but that's fine. And so let's target the form, this form here. Okay, so personally, form and impute straight up. Give it a width of 20 rem. Then let's do some padding of 7 pixels. Okay, so it's bigger. It doesn't look like this 20 rem is enough. I think something. Oh, I know why. I know why these figures are looking small. Okay, so 7 pixels, and let's do border of none. Let's do outline and set it to none. Let's do font size and set it to maybe like 1.4 rem. Okay, so this looks actually very small, so maybe I'll make the padding 1 rem. Okay, so that's better. And let's do border bottom. So border radius first of 5 px, and border on the bottom of 2 px solid. And what color? We're going to use our secondary color, so var. All right, so that's what we have. And let's do, okay, so I think we're good to go with the form. That's okay. Maybe the font size, maybe 1.6. Okay, so that's better and bigger. So what do we do next? Let's target the button. We're not going to use the button, okay, so we don't need it. Okay, but let me just be sure I don't need that button. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to, let me look at my index.html. Okay, so I'm going to style this filter box button. Okay, that's what I'm going to style now. So I'll come here and I will say, I'll just go straight to .btn. So you see it's overlapping on the guy at the top. So we first off, let's even add some margin on the right. So I can just say margin and then on the top I'll just add 1 rem. On the left I'll say 0, on the bottom 0. Oh, the bottom can also benefit from 1 rem, and the right can benefit from 1 rem as well. So that's not really doing it. So let me increase the margin for the top and bottom. I can say maybe like 3. Okay, I think I'm just going to make this margin right. I don't want to spend too much time on CSS. And then for the form impute, I would add some margin on the bottom, and I'll say 2 rem. So that pushes this guy down, and as you can see, it looks better. Okay, maybe I'll make this 3 pixels instead. Okay, all right, so I would make the active class active, and I'll just change the background color to my primary color. So I'll copy this guy, yeah. So I think I'm done with this part of the project. Yeah. No need for this. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to style the store product. Okay, that's the product here, and we're going to do that very fast because we already have the styles before. So the only thing I'm going to add is I'm just going to give the store product a grid display. So store hyphen product, and I'll say display and set it to grid, and then I'll say grid template columns, and let's just do a repeat, and inside of that repeat we're going to say auto fit, and we'll say min max, open a bracket, and then I'll say 15 rem, which actually maybe I'll start with 20 rem. So 20 rem and 1 fr. So if you know what this means, then it means you know grid system, but if you don't, then it means you need to learn grid system. So this is what we have. Okay, let me see if, oh, so for some reason this guy is shrinks to the middle. Okay, I know why. That is because of the container, right? So I'll come up here, you know, we have a container, a predefined container, and I'll change this to 1200 and save. Okay, it will spread out the products. Okay, so that's basically why. So for the product itself, remember, we don't need to write styles again. All we just need to do is grab the styles from the previous lecture we did. Okay, so I'm just going to do that very quickly. So but first, let me just add a style for store products, store hyphen pro product singular, and I'll say border 1px solid, and let's do border radius of 3px. Let's do max width of 250px. So that's actually 25 rem, I think. I'll save. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. Okay, So I actually want it to be like 4 products per row, but we can fix that. First, let's add the product details. So I'll just from the previous lecture, I'll just copy the stars we added to the previous lecture, okay, in terms of product details and stuff. Okay, so I'll just copy that and I'll just paste it in. So it's going to add stars to all of the product details, and I'll save. So you see it has changed the star for these product details. So but let's go back to our grid. I think there's something we've not finished in our grid. We need to set the column gap and the row gap. So column gap, I'll set it to 2 rem, or yeah, 2 rem is okay. And I'll do the same for row gap. 2 rem doesn't seem like it's doing anything here. So let me increase this to like maybe 3 rem. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. Okay, so 25 rem actually does the trick. It displays it 4 products per row. All right, so that's fine. So basically we are done with the CSS. What we need to do is we need to add some logic with JavaScript that when we click on each of these buttons, it will filter only the products that belong to the class, okay? But ideally it should actually be category, but then the concept is the same, okay? You can always apply it to various whatever. So let me go to my script.js and let's begin. So first let's add some variables, and the first variable is going to be for all of our buttons. I'm going to set it to equals. Let me just shrink this. So I'm going to set it to be equals documents query selector, because we're selecting all the buttons. So I'll say query selector all. So I'll select all of the buttons, right? I'll say .btn, and then I would add a function for my store products. So store products, and it's going to be also document.query. So that should be, yeah, query selector and all of the store products. So I see dot store hyphen products. Oh, that should be products, not products. So we're going to use a for loop to loop through all of the buttons, okay? And we're going to do something. So I would say for, and you know the drill. So I is equals to 0, and then we'll say I is less than btns dot length, and then we'll say I plus plus. Okay, so this is the beginning of what we're going to do. All right, so we're then going to target the current button. So I'll say btns and then ith button. Let's add an event listener to that, and basically we're going to add a click event, and we're going to do e in here, And this is what we talked about the other time when we wrote our HTML, and we said that if we set the on submit to return false, it's going to prevent the default. So we're going to do that with JavaScript also, so we can compare. So if I say something like e.prevent default, when you click on a button associated with that form, it will not reload the page. Okay, so let's come here and start creating a variable. So I'll create this variable called filter, and I'll set it to e.target, and then I'll say data set filter. Okay, and basically what we are just targeting is we are targeting this data filter we put here. Okay, so let's see in our links, where is it? Yeah, so this data filter, oh, there is a mistake here. It should be 1i. Okay, so I would have had some issues, so thank God I came back to correct this. So filter is 1i. Okay, so data filter equals to, and then the difference. So I'll save this and I'll come back here. Okay, so that's basically what we're creating this variable for. Okay, so let me see. At this point, let me try and console.log the filter. So console.log, and I'll just say filter. Have I even added an event listener? I don't think I've added. Okay, yeah, so it's console.logs all the filters. So there's watch, there's share, there's boundary, and all. You understand? So that's basically what I just did, and every time I click on it, you see that it's logs it to the console. So basically that's how we target the data set filter. This is how we do it. Okay, so I'm going to comment this out and we can continue. Okay, so we're going to create a for each loop right now. So the way you do that is we're going to say store product, right, dot for each, and then let's do this and say products, right, is equals, and then inside of this we're going to create an if else statement, right? So we're going to say if filter is equal to all. So let's put that in quotes. We want to do something, right? So what do we want to do if the filter is, if we click on this all filter, we want to display all of the products. Okay, so we're going to say products dot style. So I'm just going to add the property here, dot display. So that should be style dot display, and I'm going to set it to be equal to block. Okay, and I'll say else, right? Now inside of this else statement, I'm going to add another if else statement. Okay, so there are two things I want to do. So I'll say product dot class list. Okay, so I want to get the class dot contain. Okay, and then I'll specify that the filter. So what do I want to happen? Right, I want this to be on a straight line so it's easily readable. Okay, so basically I'm saying that if the product, that's the button you click on, right, you're supposed to get the class list with this filter here. So I'm saying that if the product or class list contains the filter, which is either gown or jewelry or shirt, right? I want to do something. So basically, I'll just come here, copy this and paste it in, and then I'll say else. I'll then paste that in, but then I'll change this to none. Okay, so this is very dicey, but I think I can try and explain it. So remember that when we clicked on this guy, we were able to log the data set to the console. Okay, that's what we did here. Okay, we were able to get the data set by clicking on this button. Now we are saying that the store products, right? We created a for each loop, and we're saying that we're getting the store every product from, or the list of products here. We are getting the particular products, right? If the filter is set to all, that's if we click on this all here, it will display all of the products, right? Now we are now saying that in the else statements, we're now saying that if so we are actually targeting the class of the product, okay, not the h2 or the heading of the product or the name of the product. We are targeting the class that we placed inside the product. So let me come here and show you. So but if you like, you can actually target the heading or whatever you want. You can actually target more than one, so the heading, the category, but for this particular project, I'm targeting this class here, so watch, right? Let me come to my script.js, and I'm saying that if the product contains a class, right, that is equals to any of the filter, right, so jewelry, gown, shirts, and all of that, I want to display only that product, or else I want to hide them. Do you understand? Okay, so let me save this and let's come and see. So if I click on watch, it should display only the watches and shirts. So let me just expand this a little so we can see. So the shirts, the gowns, the jewelry, and all displays everything. Okay, so that's basically what we just did. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to do for the search filter here, such that when we type in maybe watch or whatever we have in our store, it will search and display just that. Okay, so that's some code so we're going to write. So let me just come here and add a comment outside of this. I'll add a comment and say search filter, right? And let's start by adding some variables. So search, so it gets element by ID, and we're just going to get the search. And okay, so basically I think that's the only variable we need. Okay, let me just confirm. Okay, so that's the only variable we need, right? So I'll come down here, right, and I'll say search dot add event listener. And what do I want to add here? I want to say that when you start pressing the key, so that's key up, so key up, and what do I want to do? So let's do E and use the arrow function. So first let's prevent default, so E dot prevent default. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to set the search value, right? And let's just say const, and I'll say search value is equals to search dot value. And basically what I want to do to this is I want to take it to lowercase, so I'll say no, that's not what I want. I'll say dot to lowercase, and then I will then say I want to trim it, so dot trim, and that's it. Okay, so basically we'll just need to create a for loop. Okay, and I'll basically just say for, so I'll say I is equal to 0, and I'll then say I is less than, so I'll this time is the store product I want to get, so I'll say store products dot length, then I'll then say I plus plus. So we've created the for loop like maybe 2 or 3 times. Oh, okay, I think this is the second time. So I'll say if, right? So basically what I want to do is I want to say that if store products dot class list, oh, but not just store products, the ith item. So I would say ith dot class list contains, and then what am I going to do? I would put in the search value. So whatever you put in the search box, right? So let's just open a bracket and say search value. So what do I want to do? If it contains the search value, I want to display, so I'll say store products, and I'm looking for the ith item. Okay, then I'll say dot style dot display, and I'll set it to be equal to block. Okay, so you follow? So basically what I'm saying here is that if the store product has the class list that is entered into the searched box, I want to display such products. Okay, now let's add the else block. So else, and for the else, maybe what I'm going to do is I would say else if, because I want to add like its own this thing here, property. So I'll say if the search value is empty, an empty string, that's when the user deletes what he has searched for. What do I want to happen? What am I doing? So if the user has deleted what is in the search field, I want to get the store products and display them back. So I'll copy this and I'll paste that in. Okay, then I'll then add my final else statement, and this else statement is simply just going to be display none. Okay, so and I think that pretty much does it. So let's save. Okay, and let's come and see what we've done. So if I start typing watch, you see that it displays all the watches. Okay, and then if I delete the watches, it displays all of the products. Okay, so basically that's what this little bit small bit of code event listener does to the product. So basically we are done with our product search. Let me just expand this so we can see what we have. So we click on this. I think I needed to add some class here. Okay, so the part of me that cannot afford to just see stuff that is not exactly the way I want it has kicked in. So for the header, I think if I give the header a class of container, I think that should be sorted out. Okay, oh no, not the header. What I need to do is I need to put everything into a container class. That's all the content of the header. So the header starts here, and I think that should do it. Okay, yeah, so it does it. So this is what we've built so far, and we can search as well, and then we have our product slider. Okay, so that's 2 projects we've completed, and I'm just going to take a quick break, get something to drink, and we're going to do the next project. All right, so thank you so much and see you in the next project.